If you've ever judged someone by their power, or been judged because of your position, stay with me. By the end of this story, you might see strength, success, and love in a completely different way. And if stories that touch your heart matter to you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because sometimes, one story can change everything. Everyone feared the billionaire. Her name was Victoria Hale, and in the towering glass headquarters of Hale Industries, her presence alone could silence an entire floor. Employees straightened their backs when she walked by. Managers rehearsed their sentences before stepping into her office. Rumors painted her as cold, ruthless, untouchable. They said she fired a senior executive for being 3 minutes late. They said she bought companies just to shut them down. They said she didn't have a heart, only a calculator. What they didn't know was that years ago, Victoria had one of the warmest hearts in the world. Before the headlines, before the billions, before the private jets and security teams, she was just a daughter who adored her father. He built Hale Industries from nothing. He taught her that weakness invited destruction. And when competitors betrayed him, when partners sued him, when stress finally took his life too early, Victoria made a silent vow beside his hospital bed. Never be weak. Never trust. Never feel too much. And she kept that promise. So when the cleaning staff whispered about her icy stare, when employees avoided eye contact in elevators, when the entire city called her the Iron Lady, she let them. Fear was easier than vulnerability. But every fortress has a door. And sometimes, it opens in the most unexpected way. Daniel Rivera was a janitor at Hale Industries. 34 years old. Single father. Tired eyes but a gentle smile. He worked the night shift cleaning the same marble floors that reflected Victoria's designer heels during the day. No one noticed Daniel much. Except his 6-year-old daughter, Sophia. Sophia was the center of his universe. After his wife passed away from a sudden illness 2 years earlier, Daniel became both father and mother. He braided Sophia's hair in the mornings, badly at first, but he learned. He packed her lunches with little handwritten notes. He read bedtime stories even when exhaustion pressed down on him like a heavy blanket. But one evening changed everything. Sophia collapsed at school. Diagnosis: a rare heart condition. Urgent surgery required. The cost? More than Daniel could earn in 10 lifetimes pushing a mop. He took extra shifts. Sold his car. Emptied his savings. Still, it wasn't enough. Swallowing his pride, he requested a meeting with HR for an advance on his salary. The request traveled up the chain, until it landed on Victoria Hale's desk. She scanned the file. Janitor. Night shift. Financial hardship. Her assistant waited for her decision. Victoria didn't look up. Company policy doesn't allow personal advances of that scale. Decline. And just like that, hope seemed to vanish. But life has strange timing. One late night, Victoria returned to the office unexpectedly. A last-minute deal was collapsing, and she needed documents from her private office. As she stepped out of the elevator, the building was quiet, too quiet. Except for a faint sound. Crying. Soft. Broken. Human. She followed it down the hallway and saw Daniel sitting on the polished floor, back against the wall, phone pressed to his ear. I know the deadline is tomorrow, he whispered, voice shaking. Please, just a little more time. She's only 6. I'm trying. There was silence on the other end. Then Daniel lowered the phone slowly. Victoria should have walked away. Instead, she stood there. Daniel noticed her shadow first. He quickly wiped his tears and scrambled to his feet. Ms. Hale, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Who is she? Victoria asked, her voice sharper than she intended. My daughter, he said. No hesitation. No shame. Just love. She needs heart surgery. Victoria's chest tightened, an unfamiliar sensation. And you thought crying in my hallway would fix that, she said, defensive, almost harsh. Daniel didn't look angry. He didn't look resentful. He looked tired. No, ma'am, he said softly. But sometimes when you're doing everything you can, and it's still not enough, you just need a minute to feel it. That sentence hit harder than any business negotiation ever had. Because once upon a time, a younger Victoria had cried in a hospital hallway too. And no one had stayed. Why didn't you try harder? She asked suddenly, almost accusing. Daniel met her eyes, not with fear, but with quiet courage. I am trying, he said. I clean your offices. I work double shifts. I haven't missed a day. But I won't beg anyone to care about my child. I'll fight. I just hoped someone might see her as more than a number. The building felt smaller. For the first time in years, Victoria felt something crack inside her carefully built armor. She saw not a janitor, but a father. A brave one. The next morning, the entire company buzzed with shocking news. Hale Industries was launching a new employee emergency medical fund, fully financed by Victoria Hale herself. The first beneficiary? Sofia Rivera. But Victoria didn't just write a check. She visited the hospital. When Sofia opened her eyes after surgery, Victoria was standing awkwardly beside the bed, holding a small stuffed bear she clearly didn't know how to present. Is she a princess? Sofia asked weakly, pointing at Victoria. Daniel laughed softly. Something like that. Victoria knelt beside the bed. No, she said gently. I'm just someone who forgot what really matters. Weeks passed. Sofia recovered beautifully. But something else had changed too. Victoria began walking through her company differently. She learned names. She listened. She started mentorship programs for employees' families. She implemented humane policies. Productivity didn't drop, it soared. Fear was replaced by respect. One evening, she found Daniel finishing his shift. You were brave that night, she said. Daniel shook his head. No. I was desperate. Sometimes, Victoria replied, that's the same thing. She looked at the reflection of both of them in the polished floor, the billionaire and the janitor. Thank you, she said quietly. You reminded me I still have a heart. Daniel smiled. You reminded me that power can choose kindness. And in that simple exchange, something extraordinary happened. Not romance. Not fairy tale magic. Something stronger. Humanity. The city no longer feared Victoria Hale. They admired her. Not because she was powerful. But because she chose compassion when it would have been easier to stay cold. And Daniel? He kept working hard. But now, he walked those halls knowing his daughter's heart beat strong, because he dared to stand firm with dignity instead of surrendering to fear. So remember this. You never know whose heart you might change with a single moment of courage. Power doesn't define greatness. Compassion does. If this story touched you, even a little, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what truly matters. Because sometimes, the bravest person in the room isn't the richest. It's the one who refuses to stop loving.